Okay, so hello everybody. I think I know quite a few people, but for those of you who don't know me, I am Nikki Storrar, and with my family we have Ardross Farm Shop. We are located just outside Ely on the East Neuk of Fife. Picture there is the family. We were lucky enough to have Gordon Ramsay visit us a couple of years ago. So I'm just on the left-hand side. My sister in the middle, Claire, she is actually farming the farm. I should say I manage the farm shop as my role in the business. My other sister that's there, she actually has a proper job, we call it, but she gets the privilege of working every other waking hour in our business, mostly for free. And then there's my parents who started the farm shop. So about us, we are a family-run farm. We are a very traditional mixed farm. We farm over 4 farms on 2 estates, 1,300 acres. We have cows, sheep, we have cereals, oilseed rape, fodder crops, and we do various environmental schemes, and we also grow veg. And we decided in 2005 to open a farm shop. At the time, we didn't realise that's what we were opening, but it kind of just has grown arms and legs. We decided that we wanted to sell our own beef direct to consumers, and we completely underestimated what we were doing and the demand from our customers for what we were doing. So since then, we have gradually expanded. So why we diversified? This is when we first started. I'm looking quite a bit younger in these pictures. So we're tenants over 2 different estates, and we just couldn't make ends meet. Farming was more of a way of life. There wasn't much left over at the end. So we sat down and had a meeting with mum and dad, 3 girls, a mum and dad, and we decided ultimately that we all wanted to stay in farming and we wanted to continue to farm. So we needed to do something to ensure that we could stay farming. Mum and dad had all sorts of ideas. We were going to sell big stone troughs. We were going to sell to garden centres. Our airing cupboard was full of straw that we were trying to compact into bales to put onto fires. All sorts of things, you name it, we tried it to diversify. But ultimately, it came back to the fact that we wanted to still be farmers. We didn't want to be garden centres. We didn't want to be making something that people put on fires. And we thought that we were pretty good at what we did. We just couldn't make money from it. So we kind of gave up on the idea, and then a few weeks later, Dad came back and said, right, that's it. I've taken a cattle beast to St Andrew's Abattoir. It's hanging for 3 weeks, and then you better work out how we're going to sell it. So we had a bit of a panic, and the picture in the middle here, that actually used to be the workshop on the farm. So Mum decided that was going to be some form of shop. We kicked the men on the farm out, which they were highly delighted at, and actually still don't even have a workshop. We haven't kind of replaced it yet, so it's a bit of a sore point on the farm. And the whole family came, and we came home from university. We painted the walls, we painted the floor. It was just a concrete floor, and we bought 2 freezers. I remember Mum and Dad having an argument because Dad wanted a closed top freezer because it was more efficient and it wouldn't cost so much money, and Mum told him not to be so bloody stupid, that customers wouldn't be able to see in the freezer, so we needed the glass top freezer. So we bought one of each, and funnily enough, the glass top freezer was the way forward. So that was one of our biggest first decisions. And the first day that we opened, well, before that, we actually got leaflets drawn up. The logo that's here, we went to a local printers, and Mum came up with that with them, and we distributed leaflets throughout all the local villages. And the first day that we opened, we took £25. And I remember Mum coming in and doing a little whoop, and that was us, you know, we'd made it, we'd diversified, and that was us starting off our farm shop. So our farm shop, basically, we've decided that we want to produce as much as we possibly can on the farm and sell it direct to the end consumer. Everything that we think about on the farm we now don't want to be at the bottom of the chain. We've grown vegetables for the supermarkets before. We know how that works. We know that you don't get a price for barley until after you've sold it. So everything that we do now, we try to do with the mindset that we're going to sell it direct to our customers. So all of the cattle on our farm are now sold directly through the shop. We also have lamb, all of that's sold through the shop. We sell mutton through the shop as well. We stopped growing for ESG and we started growing small scale vegetables, but a wider variety of vegetables. We got bees onto the farm, so we now sell our honey direct. We even bag up our Aussie drape and sell it as bird food. Who knew that people love that for bird food? So as much as we possibly can, we sell direct. And when we first started, we wanted to help other farmers that were in the same position. So we went out, and bearing in mind that was in 2005, there wasn't a huge amount of people diversifying, but we found the Maxwells at Doddington had started making ice cream with their milk. So we approached them and they told us that in order for them to deliver to us, it was going to be £800, which we were absolutely petrified at having £800 of ice cream to sell, but we started selling that. There was a dairy farmer's wife who started making sticky toffee puddings, so we started selling them, and it kind of gradually grew from there. We then in 2014, I think it was, we were nominated for a couple of quite big awards in the Farm Shop and Deli Awards, which was quite laughable for us at the time because we were just a tiny shop just playing around with what we were doing. And Mum and I went down to Birmingham and were absolutely gobsmacked that we ended up winning Best Farm Shop in Britain. And then we went on and we took Best Retailer in the UK, which still to this day, we can't believe that we won, but we did. And that opened up a lot of avenues for us. The Farm Shop and Deli Awards were very, very good with their PR and their connections. And all of a sudden people started calling us, asking to be stocked in our shop. A lot more people came through the doors because they knew a bit more about us. So then we decided that we probably needed to broaden our horizons a little bit. And we decided we wanted to provide people with everything that they want for a local meal. We were very good at keeping track of what people were asking for and what we didn't have in the shop. And it seemed that people were really interested in what we were doing, but they wanted a one-stop. They wanted to come to us and buy everything that they could instead of having to go to the supermarket afterwards. So we then started approaching local businesses, and we were lucky in Fife, in Scotland in general, but especially in Fife at the time, that there's a lot of local businesses starting up. So we added Cairnmore wines, local bread, dips, and we now stock over 4,000 products. So you can come and you can do your everyday shopping with us. You can get a full range of meats, vegetables, jams, chutneys, puddings, cream, milk, crisps, everything you need. You don't need to go to the supermarket if you don't want. And that appeals to, we've been very careful that we try and market ourselves so that locals come and shop with us, but also very much so people who are on holiday, they really want a foodie experience. And we completely underestimated people's thirst for knowledge about farming and about food. And people genuinely want to come and do the right thing and know what they're eating. So that's really, really pushed us forward with what we were doing. So because we started the shop, we just thought we were going to sell our beef and that was it. And once we sold our beef, everything would be fine. But actually, we have completely changed everything that we do on the farm in order to respond to that. Selling your beef sounds like a really great idea, but then you forget that actually in the summertime, nobody wants to buy a roast. And in the wintertime, nobody wants a burger. So we started gathering all sorts of random cuts that were in the freezer until we came through one day and there were 7 freezers full of braising steak. I thought this is getting completely unmanageable. So we built a commercial kitchen, and that's basically been built to respond and to add value to everything we produce on the farm. So on the left-hand side there, that's beef stock. So all the bones from our animals, we roast and we make, well, the trendy word is bone broth from. So we do beef broth. We also do beef dripping from the fat. So we render that down and we use the fat. We make steak pies, and we make different kinds of burgers. We make chili con carnes, meatballs, all sorts of different things, because it is very hard to sell a whole carcass, and we want to make sure that we sell nose to tail and there's nothing left over. We also changed the breed of cattle and sheep on the farm, and people were asking us all sorts of questions, and it made us question everything that we do, why we do it, and would customers be happy seeing us doing it. As farmers, I think that we are excellent custodians of the landscapes and of our animals, but if you stand every single day and you question, would you be happy for a journalist to stand beside you and see you doing this? Just because it's the right thing to do doesn't necessarily mean it's the right thing for somebody to see. So we changed quite a lot. The breed of cattle, we changed to smaller cattle that we could outwinter all year. The sheep, my sister decided instead of buying in lamb and mutton that we would start selling our own lamb and mutton, so we had complete control. So we've got easy care sheep. Both of them are small animals, they're light on their feet, and that meant that we could become Pasture for Life accredited, which means our animals are 100% grass fed. And that was in response to what customers were asking. What are these animals eating? Why are they eating that? Are they getting fed antibiotics? Do you give them C-sections? Why do you give them C-sections? All these questions we were being asked all the time, and we wanted to ensure that we could make sure that we were happy answering them. Just because of the cattle and the sheep and everything else that we were doing, we've kind of moved to what we now realise is regenerative farming, and quite a lot about what Sasha was talking about resonates with us as well. We were also trying to make a margin still at farming. So about 10 years ago, Dad bought a Claydon drill and we started direct drilling. And people were really interested in that. In fact, anything that we put on our social media that's to do with the environment, that's to do with carbon emissions, RSPB, they're the ones that get the highest interactions and the highest hits for us. People are really interested in that. We also started working a lot with RSPB, and again, they were really keen to work with us because we were public facing and we had a premises that customers could come in and speak to us about the work that they were doing. Also, we've moved from having on the right hand side our Jim and Scott. We had 3 generations of the one family working for us. Mark's not in that picture. And we've moved from that to employing over 17 local people, and that swells in the summertime with students as well. We thought in farming, people tend to stay in their job for a long time. Jim's been working for us since he was 16. Scott has been working for us since he could walk, basically. And that was a big learning curve for us, because people don't, out of farming, stay in jobs for 10, 20, 40 years. So that was a big learning curve. And we've now got an HR department. We really enjoy working with people, but it's definitely been different to farming. And potentially controversially, we've worked harder than we have ever done before our diversification. Farming's really hard and you work really hard, but we have our shop 10 meters away from our back door, and it's open 7 days a week. We close 3 days a year, and it's all consuming. We love what we do. We really get a buzz from the customers asking questions. The farm staff love the fact that people come back and say that beef or lamb or mutton or veg was the best they've ever tasted. But it's all consuming in the fact you can't get away from it. We've got people climbing on fences looking in our back door. We've got people looking at our windows, seeing a farmhouse kitchen. So there's positives, and I'm not sure they're negatives. It's just that you definitely have to be ready to share your life with the public if you're wanting to encourage people onto your farm. So our business now, we have a farm shop that has over 4,000 products. Without the farm shop, the farm would not be viable anymore, but also without the farm shop, the farm shop wouldn't be viable either. They're completely integrated now. They supply and promote each other very well. We started doing events on site. So we do food events, the Taste of Summer, Taste of Christmas, and we invite lots of food producers on site. We open late on a Thursday and we invite takeaway people every Thursday. Well, this year's been slightly different. normally into our courtyard. We have a beautiful hayloft above the shop that's normally empty, so we give that free of charge to the local community, and they host all sorts of events, and the caveat is that people have to walk through our shop to get to their event. So we have art galleries there, we have craft events, we have all sorts of different amazing events that happen up there, and we get customers that would potentially not be normally ours coming to them. We also go out and about to all the local food festivals, trying to raise awareness of what we're doing and our area. And one thing that we've done for quite some time, but it's definitely not as formalised as Sasha's or as any of the things we've been learning about from Caroline, is tours. We have, for maybe about the past 6 years, had a coachload of farmers that come every year through a tour guide, and we give them a tour. And everything that we do, we always try and link back to the food that we produce on the farm. So we give people tours, and then they go up to the hayloft, and we have a big buffet of food all produced on the farm that they can enjoy. Anybody that wants to have a tour around the farm, we love speaking about what we do. We love telling people about the amazing work that farmers are doing and where all their food comes from. So we always ask them and let them have a tour. And we've never charged for the local tours, but that is something in the future. With Caroline's help, she's been giving us lots of ideas and tips and showing the value of our tours as well. So through Go Rural, we would like to do that better this year and, well, potentially next year now. But again, everything that we do is about adding value to what we produce on the farm. We are still farmers at heart. My husband, who's not actually part of the business, but he's always looked at diversifying. And what infuriates him is that he wants to be a farmer. He loves farming, and a lot of diversifications take you away from doing that. But when you're selling food, to the food you produce on the farm to customers, you're just adding value to what you do. And it's a really amazing thing getting feedback from you from beginning to end, from that calf being born right through to the end to them cooking the steak. You have been in control of that, and it's I think of great value for your mental health, hearing how amazing the things are that you've been producing. So that's our business now. Agritourism, why should you be part of it? Well, I have been part of Go Rural for many, many years. One of my favourite things we did was go on holiday. Oh, sorry, Caroline, it wasn't a holiday. We were on a learning journey to Italy. So the lady on the left.
I believe you said the word holiday, Nikki.
Not much fun at all. But Go Rural took, has it 2 or 3 groups, I think, over various years out to Italy to learn. Italy is renowned for food, and we went round some really amazing agritourism businesses. Now, businesses that weren't huge businesses either, they were small farms, very passionate about farming and about what they do, and they sold it really, really well. And that really inspired me to come home and to do better, and also to be more proud of what we do. Scotland's an amazing country, and people are genuinely interested in what we do. I say this all the time, but they really are. I could stand and talk to every customer that comes through the door, and they genuinely want to know about farming and about food and about what we've done this morning. What time did you get up? Like, have you been in, in your wellies in the mud? People are really interested in that. And I think up until fairly recently, people have been really disconnected. So agritourism is a really great way of bringing you back. It's a wonderful support network as well. As Sasha said, the WhatsApp group's been invaluable. My phone pings constantly throughout the day, and it's the one group that I actually look at. I've got a lot of groups that ping throughout the day, and I think I'll catch up later, but the information that people are talking about is relevant, and everyone's really friendly, and you post what you think is a completely stupid question, and you get a lot of answers, a lot of cheek, and some pictures back, and it's really, really good. I also really like the direct link to government. This last year, we've been swimming around, not really knowing. There's so many rules, there's so much legislation, and Go Rural really cut through all of that and took our concerns direct to Fergus Ewing. And I felt like we were being really heard as well, where a lot of sectors I don't think have been heard. The consumer-facing website I also think is really good. That's being developed this year. And it'll be really good for people to go to one website to promote us all. We've all got our own websites, which are all excellent. But if people are interested in farms, this is going to be the website that they go to, and we can all help promote each other. Lorna, you have been amazing as well, I have to say. Having Visit Scotland on board was so exciting, and the amount of bloggers and PR, the ideas that you have given us, pictures of cows. We were involved in Lambing Live as well. And we had a lot of people visiting all our social media sites that we wouldn't have had ordinarily through Lambing Live. It was absolutely terrifying, and I managed to get my sister to do it rather than me. But it was really empowering at the end of it, because people were really excited and asking great questions. And also that gave us a link to a larger audience through all the social media sites. So for me, it's working with friends, it's sharing ideas, it's being positive, and there's so much enthusiasm in this sector, and there's so many really exciting things happening, and it's great to share all of that. And we've been around for 15 years, which isn't really that long in terms of some of the other businesses, but it's great to see real movement now with a lot of people doing things. And you can see that through the WhatsApp group and all the other meetings. So, the only other thing I had, Caroline, but I'm not sure if I've gone over time, was I've got a 2-minute video of the farm shop.
Yeah, that's fine, Nikki.
And other than that, that's me finished, so I can just play that.
I started the shop in May 2005. It was an old cart shed that we had. We washed it, we painted it, we cleaned it. The first day I had 2 customers and I brought in £23.
Our first criteria for stocking products is it has to be quality. We have to think this product's fantastic. And secondly, we try to be as local as possible. Fife is just amazing, and it's really at the fore of local food at the moment. The farm and the shop are very much integral to each other. Without the farm, the shop wouldn't work, and vice versa. Without the shop, the farm wouldn't work. And the 2 huge parts of that are our beef and our vegetables. This is something that Dad is just amazing at. It's not that he'll ever say, he's very modest, but he's way ahead of his time.
The quality of the beef is all about the handling and feeding of the cattle throughout their lifetime. We've got very experienced men who treat the cattle with great respect. They're fed on a forage-based diet. We know where all the food's coming from, so we know exactly what they're getting. We're buying in nothing for them, and a lot of the cattle stay outside all year round. When a customer buys Ardross beef, we always feel they could buy a cut below the cut they normally buy and still experience the quality of the superior cut. Customers really appreciate the freshness of the veg. We often walk in having freshly cut vegetables. They see it as we come in the door and they immediately buy it. It can't be fresher than that.
I think when the customers come to Ardross, they come here because they're looking for a calm environment, they're looking for good service, they're looking for staff that are knowledgeable. I suppose old-fashioned service is what it was. The way it used to be is what we try to do.
We're privileged to be able to do what we do, strive to produce good food economically in a sustainable manner, looking after the environment, looking after the customer. That's what we really enjoy doing.
That's us. Thank you very much.